Hey folks, welcome back to Onward with Onrie. I'm your host, Henri Kompan, and this week I have a very special message that I would like to share with you guys, something that I think we all need to hear at some point, and that message is that you are not alone. And I think that no matter who you are, and no matter what business you're working in, whenever you are out there doing your thing, it is extremely difficult sometimes to get outside of yourself. And when you're alone with your thoughts and work in a secluded industry like the comic book world, where you could be writing at a desk all day or drawing at a desk all day, your thoughts kind of like start to pick up. And when you dive onto something like social media and see all the things that are going on, it can also kind of like sway your mood depending on what you're reading. And depending on what you're exposing yourself to as well, like your mood could be affected by the movies you watch or the TV shows that you check out or the people you interact with. There's so many different variables that affect how we feel. And one of the common feelings that I notice in the comic book industry is that a lot of people feel alone because this is a very hard industry to get into. It's a very difficult industry to make a living in, and it's a difficult industry to get noticed in too. It's a very competitive field, and it's not easy to kind of get yourself out there. So today I want to talk about some ways to kind of help you through those that process of that feeling, because it's important to accept the feelings that we feel and not just kind of push them aside. I think an essential component of success is learning how to come to terms with whatever it is you're feeling and allow those emotions to exist and allow them to propel you forward with whatever your goals are. So I'm going to be using some experiences that I had that helped me understand this. And going back to a couple weeks ago when I was at Phoenix Comic-Con, I entered that show kind of nervous because I just didn't know what to expect. You never know what. I'm just going to lay this out for you guys. Every show I go to, I'm always nervous before I do them. It doesn't matter. And you would think the complete opposite. But every single convention I do, I'm always nervous. Like a week before, the day of, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who my neighbors are going to be. I don't know how the show floor is going to be laid out. I don't know how full it's going to be this year. There's so many variables that are beyond my control. I don't know if people are going to buy anything. I mean, Easton Shin may sell out, but it's not written anywhere that people are obligated to buy my book. They're not. So I might do okay, and I may sell out, or I may not sell out. And for me, I put a lot of pressure to sell out. For me, that's a very important thing. So when you're dealing with that, it's important to kind of understand that you're not alone, and that it's okay to feel this way. And so I go into Phoenix Comic-Con, and I ran into a friend of mine, and we just started talking. And about 5 minutes in, he started telling me that he was feeling the exact same way I was. And it was funny because I thought that this was something that only I feel. I thought only I get nervous before conventions. Apparently everybody gets nervous before conventions. And the lesson here is simple, guys. The problems in your industry are not your sole burden, okay? This is not something that you need to carry the burden for. Every one of your contemporaries feels this on some level, all right? And and it could be nervousness. It could be so many other things. It could be a worry that ATM machines are suddenly not working in the convention floor. It could be a myriad of things. And it's important to sometimes just acknowledge the fact that what you're feeling is natural. And once you're presented with that feeling, now you can start to kind of figure out how to work your way around it. And you could do that by charging yourself positively, by letting others know that you acknowledge them, and trying to see where you can help. This karma. Think of karma. Someone else might be feeling nervous, And, you know, when I was at Phoenix Comic-Con, my buddy was nervous. So I told him, I'm like, look, man, everything's going to be all right. This is going to be a good show. And I told that to everybody around me. I said, this is going to be a great show. Just relax. We're going to do well today. And they might still have a bad day. But, you know, letting them know that I'm focused and I'm going to do my best, and, you know, encouraging them that they can do the same if they, you know, just jump on board, really has an effect. Like, you know, my neighbor, Rob Osborne at Phoenix Comic-Con, we were, you know, constantly talking to each other throughout the show, and we were working off of each other. If you've ever seen me and Kevin Hines at a show, that's exactly what we do. We just charge each other positively. And that's a really effective means of working past that feeling. You know, it's like when a problem presents itself, the best way to work around it is to understand that you're not alone in coming up with the solution to the problem. You can work with other people to do that. And sometimes if you can help other people out, it can come back and something else can help you in a way that you don't expect. Like, for example, let's say I hook an artist up with some work, and you know, he really needs the job, and I give him work, and, you know, suddenly he's doing really well. Well, you know, 3 or 4 months down the road, I could get a phone call from a producer saying that, you know, they want me to write a script for a movie. I mean, these things happen, and I'll tell you that actually, as a matter of fact, it has happened for me before. You know, before I hooked up with my publisher in Korea, I actually was working with an entrepreneur who was interested in publishing the Korean edition of Yisun Shin. And what happened was he was really excited at first, and then once he started to learn all the schematics of what goes into publishing, he became less and less interested in that business. He had no prior experience to it. And he slowly backed out of it. And we didn't have a contract, so there was nothing he was, you know, he jumped out at the right time. And when he did, it really stank, because you know, one of the things that really kind of brings a lot of us creators down in the field of entertainment is the hot minute deal. And the thing is that something can be hot 1 minute and then completely lose steam the next. And it's happened with Yisun Shin. So in 2014. They released the movie Roaring Currents, which starred Choi Min-sik, who is the main actor in Old Boy, and he was cast to play Yisun Shin. And this movie did really well in Korea. It was one of their highest grossing films of all time. And, you know, they were all really excited about, you know, what I was doing with Yisun Shin. So all of a sudden I had all these people coming to me. I had publishing companies, I had agencies that wanted to publish my work. And it was, you can't just make a decision on impulse. Sometimes it takes time to do it. And, you know, I met this guy, and I thought that, you know, working with this entrepreneur would give me more control, and so I decided to go with him. And I realized that, you know, I had passed up the opportunity, because as soon as things fell through with him, they sort of fell through with everybody. That hot minute had dissipated. And you can't control that. You know, that's just something that happens. But you know what? When you're patient and you lose that opportunity, don't think that that's it. Another opportunity will come. And by being good to your peers, by helping out your neighbors, not just in the comic book world, but in general, by being a good person, you are positively charging yourself. You are allowing karma to come back and affect you in wonderful ways. And that's exactly what happened. You know, a year later, I end up getting my book published. You know, I got a first-class trip to Korea to promote it. I got $9,000 in my bank account, you know, and things are moving forward. And now I'm selling more books than I could have ever imagined, you know. And it was just a matter of time, I guess, and things just kind of working themselves out on their own. But I didn't do it alone. I had friends helping me. I had David Anthony Kraft, my partner, with me on, you know, helping me figure things out all along. You know, it can be a lonely journey if you don't have people around you that you can work off of, that you can feed off of, in order to kind of put yourself on the right path. And you know, we're affected by so many things. And the bottom line is this, guys. Every problem has a solution. And by focusing on yourself, your brain will naturally sort things out. Now, what's going on here? 1 minute ago I was telling you, try and help other people. Now I'm telling you to focus on yourself. The idea is this. Yes, you want to help out other people. And by helping other people, you're positively charging yourself, right? Now you can focus on what you need to do to further yourself. Because by helping other people, it makes you feel good. It releases that endorphin of, I did something, I accomplished something, I made someone's life just a little bit better. And by doing that, now you think to yourself, I can do it. It's kind of like that idea of going to work out on a day when you don't feel like working out. Let's say you just wake up one morning and you're like, oh man, I don't want to go work out. But you go in and you put in your hour, you weight lift, you run, you do whatever it is that you do. And then all of a sudden you're filled with positive energy because you know that other people aren't doing what you're doing to better yourself. And by bettering yourself, you're helping other people too because they see what you're doing and they're inspired by it. So don't think that anybody is not paying attention to you either. People see what you're doing and your influence, your presence has a tremendous impact on what's going on around you. All right? All right, guys, I'll see you next week with a brand new episode. Until then, onward to victory.